a certain way. So whoever has any answers, please feel free. We can share our experience and support.
Yeah, I want to ask one question regarding how do you guys limit screen time for your kids?
Um, yes, so I can say in my case, it's only need based when he's off the screen. Only if there is a class, someone has come and he has to be around someone. Uh, it's very difficult to get him off the screen, unless I also emotionally blackmail. So please, others, please share your experiences.
Yeah, so my son is 15 years and we started homeschooling him in the year 2022. It was, although a very, very quick decision because he was going to a school earlier, but in a way, he was kind of a homeschool child only who was attending the school with like about 50% attendance or so. Most of the times we were traveling. So screen time has not been a problem until 2020 lockdown. But in January 2020, so he was like completely lost during those classes and he switched to online gaming as well. I mean, that was the time most of the kids started playing online games or video games, and his friend circle was also getting engrossed into that. So now what happens is he loves playing outdoors, but being a homeschool child, he doesn't get company during morning slots or during the daytime. It's only in the evenings he gets to, go out with his, friends in the park or to play outside. But for the other times, beside his online classes, I mean, what I have done now is because he will be writing his 10th boards this year from National Institute of Open Schooling. So I have put a password in his mobile. So whenever he needs to, access, internet, he is using his laptop. So I get to know, and whatever is he watching, and whenever he's using, internet. So, and he himself also knows that the screen time has to be limited. But the problem is that he doesn't get company to play outside or to, play offline actually, whenever
Sufficiently,
he
yes.
is free.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I
but
I also
children
feel that
themselves
if you,
also,
yeah, sorry.
yeah, yeah, you please continue. Yeah, please.
Um, Regarding screen time, my son is pretty young. Also, he listens. If we tell them like, okay, you have 15 minutes. So my practice is that I would not snatch away his device immediately while he's watching. This came very naturally to me, and I don't know if every kid responds the way my child does, but this is what we do. So we tell him in advance कि अभी 15 मिनट है, आप मतलब you have the phone or whatever device 15 minutes more. So we stay in a joint family. My sister, my brother, we all are staying together, and all of us have children. They don't follow this principle. वो मतलब they will just snatch away the phone, or they will just immediately scold the child कि तुझे बोला था ना बंद करने को, अभी बंद करो बस सुना. So इसमें I feel that the child, uh, either he starts to, if he goes inwards, he would start to feel that मेरी choice की तो value ही नहीं है. It was his choice. He's by choice. He or she is watching television or phone. तो उसको I feel that the child would feel कि मेरी choice की कोई value ही नहीं है यहाँ पे, and that will eventually make him a rebel, him or her. वो जबरदस्ती फिर झूठ बोल के इधर उधर से जाके देख ही लेगा. So what we do here is we time him कि 15 minutes बचे, and uh, the way my son has responded is that वो खुद ही पूछ लेता है आगे कितने मिनट बच गए हैं, 5 मिनट बचे हैं, अभी 3 मिनट बचे तो चलो ठीक है, and immediately after the time is up he would himself switch it off. and and obviously हर बार नहीं होता है ऐसे, because हर बार हम उसको टाइम नहीं दे पाते, जब टाइम देते हैं फिर तो वो मान ही लेता है, अगर हमने नहीं दिया and he sneaks into the room and he opens the TV and he's watching, so he'll go on. So then I would rather make him realize himself कि आपको कुछ फर्क लग रहा है क्या, लाइक ही वॉचेज यूट्यूब शॉर्ट्स, एंड शॉर्ट्स
Yes.
आई डोंट
Yes.
प्रेफर बिकॉज ऑफ अ वेरी स्मॉल, वो 10-15 सेकंड के होते हैं, द अटेंशन स्पैन इज वेरी स्मॉल,
Yes.
एंड आई नोटिस्ड दैट ही वाज नॉट एबल टू पे अटेंशन ऑन समथिंग एज feeble as polishing his own shoes. He would not even look at his shoes after like 2 3 4 seconds. He would start to look at the floor, he would start to look at इधर उधर कितना कुछ देख रहा है, बट उसका शूज क्योंकि प्रैक्टिस इतनी बन गई है, 10 सेकंड के ज्यादा किसी भी चीज को फोकस करने की जरूरत नहीं है, इट विल चेंज द सब्जेक्ट विल, सो उसको फिर मैं रियलाइज करवाता हूँ कि कैन यू रियलाइज कुछ हो रहा है, यू डू फील समथिंग दैट यू नॉट एबल टू फोकस और पे अटेंशन टू एनीथिंग मोर देन अ स्पेसिफिक टाइम. सो इफ अ चाइल्ड रियलाइजेज हिमसेल्फ, फिर ज्यादा मुझे लगता है असर होगा उस पे कि हाँ ठीक है छोड़ देना चाहिए, rather than us we keep telling them. उनको तो सारा जहान ही उनको बता ही रहा है, सब बच्चे हैं, everybody is trying to teach them. So वो उनके ऊपर है वो किसको टीचर लेंगे किसको नहीं लेंगे, क्योंकि एवरीबडी, दादा आएगा दादू कुछ बोलेंगे, दादी आएंगी दादी कुछ बोलेंगी, बुआ आएगी वो कुछ बोलेगी, तो सभी लोग सिखा ही रहे हैं. यू इमेजिन अ चाइल्ड्स ब्रेन, जब उसको इतने लोग आके सिखाते सिखाते रहेंगे तो ही विल ऑल्सो गेट टायर्ड ना, वो सोच लेगा मन में मैं इसकी सुनूंगा इसकी नहीं सुनने वाला हूँ.
Especially when you as a parent are open to giving him choices, that kind of liberates him and also makes him more independent, that
Yeah,
he's able to choose rather than
yeah,
just follow.
yes. So I,
And
yeah, please go ahead.
yes. And another approach would be like if something more interesting is available to the child,
Yes.
yes, then we can cut down the screen time. So that is the challenge for me, that I am not able to create something more interesting for him, so he can divert his energies towards it.
So this was the reason why I did not mention this point. I had read this somewhere that if there's something more interesting, maybe the child would gravitate towards that interesting thing rather than going in for a device,
Yes,
because you वो फिर आपका होमवर्क बन गया. You have to continuously be an interesting person or do something interesting. So
exactly.
rather than, I think, making the child independent and be able to choose for himself has worked for me till now. See, my son is again 10 years old. He's an obedient one. We are blessed that way. But हर बच्चा अलग होता है. So this is what we do. I mean, we all have to be creative enough to be able to, do something need based for our child.
आई थिंक हम लोग को मेरा बेटा 10 साल का है एंड माई डॉटर इज 14 एंड एक कांस्टेंट आई थिंक ये स्ट्रगल है स्क्रीन टाइम. हम लोगों ने पिछले जब से आई थिंक कोविड शुरू था तब से बता रखा है कि दिन में 3 बार 15 मिनट्स के लिए मॉर्निंग आफ्टरनून एंड इवनिंग में आप लोग स्क्रीन टाइम कर सकते हो. सो दैट रिमेन्स वेरी क्लियरली विद देम. तो उसके बीच में बहुत ज्यादा नेगोशिएशंस नहीं होती हैं हमारी. So I think एक तो no negotiation mode beyond the boundaries that you've set already. एंड उसके बाद मुझे लगता है बट स्टिल ये लोग होम स्कूल करे, फिर भी जो स्कूल जाने वाले बच्चे हैं इनका आके कंप्लेन ये होता है कि सैटरडे संडेज को उनको तो 1-1 घंटा लगातार मिल रहा है, तो हम लोग को भी उस टाइम खेलने दो, गेम करने दो. सो आई थिंक वो एक कॉन्स्टेंट स्ट्रगल है. हम सबको ही उस चीज को बैटल करना भी पड़ेगा और स्ट्रेटेजीज ढूंढती भी रहने पड़ेंगी और बार बार उनको थोड़ा कभी फर्म होना पड़ेगा, कभी प्यार से समझाना पड़ेगा. So I think all kinds of things, but yeah, I think it will be a constant battle as they now grow. Also क्योंकि हम लोग भी कितना स्क्रीन से खुद को रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर सकते हैं. I think सबसे बड़ी बात है कि आजकल के टाइम में why are we saying that screen is the devil? We cannot live without it in these times and times coming ahead. जब तक ये लोग बच्चे अपने करियर में आगे बढ़ेंगे, एआई को देखा जाए तो कितना टाइम हम इनको दूर रख लेंगे इन सब से. This is going to be an essential devil, in their life, no matter how much we like it or not like it.
For everything we need screen, either if we
yes of course. होम स्कूलर्स के लिए तो स्पेशली वो लोग तो कितने सारे कंटेंट के लिए यूट्यूब पर ही डिपेंडेंट है.
YouTube पे
तो आप कहाँ तक आप उस चीज को वो कर दोगे. अब आप ऑफिसेज में देख लो, लाइक अमित इज वर्किंग, तो ही इज लाइक आई थिंक 15-16 आवर्स ही इज ऑन फोन. आप कहाँ तक
एग्जैक्टली.
देंगे? आप कहाँ तक? तो ये जनरेशन तो वो देख ही रही है ना.
अच्छा.
तो मुझे लगता है ठीक है, हम बोलते हैं कि ठीक, हाँ ये अच्छा है कि बच्चों को बोले, जैसे अभी साहिल जी बोल रहे कि शॉर्ट्स के ऊपर थोड़ा सा कट डाउन करना एंड ऑल दैट, क्योंकि वो डेफिनेटली अटेंशन स्पैन को अफेक्ट करता है.
पता है.
हाँ,
हाँ.
चॉइसेस उनको दीजिए, बट हाँ बाउंड्रीज को बार
Right.
बार उनको याद दिलाना पड़ेगा. आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव अंडरस्टूड विद देम.
हाँ, बच्चे इतना सुनते नहीं है. आप एक बार बोल दोगे, बट
Exactly.
व्हेन दे स्टार्ट
हाँ.
वाचिंग टीवी ना, दे गॉट लॉस्ट. वो खो
Yes,
जाते हैं
yes,
उसमें,
yes,
टीवी में.
yes, yes, that is true.
Yeah, I experienced the same during winter months, because in winter months we couldn't go out a lot. So for that I have to let them watch TV more time, because I didn't have any other option. Like,
Yes.
only for some time I could engage with them, and I do have some other works, and I cannot be available for
Exactly.
them all the time. So
Yes.
that is the kind of struggle I face, especially during winters. Summers it's not nice, like we can manage, but in winters it's really tough.
So I think I would rather suggest that gradually moving towards a much better option would be a wiser choice. Say for example, अब हम ही उसको फोर्स करते हैं. फोर्स क्या करते हैं? वी ट्राई टू परस्यू इट. मेरे पास जैसे यूट्यूब, आई हैव प्रीमियम अकाउंट, वो एडवर्टीजमेंट्स नहीं आते हैं. तो मैंने डेलिबरेटली इस बार मैंने उसका भरा ही नहीं है. मैं आई विल नॉट, एड्स आएंगी अपने आप, डिस्टर्ब होगा और यूट्यूब नहीं देखेगा. और मैं उसको रोज बोलता हूँ कि तुम्हें नेटफ्लिक्स देख लो यार, तुम मूवी देख लो एक, गेट योर टाइम डन, वॉच ए मूवी. और मुझे मालूम है कि हम लोग जो मर्जी कर ले, इसको रोकना तो हम रोकना चाहिए भी नहीं हमें. रादर वी शुड एजुकेट, क्योंकि हम लोग होम स्कूलर्स, हम लोग तो बनने जा रहे हैं अभी. वी आर स्टिल इन द मिडल ऑफ टेकिंग अ डिसीजन. बट मैं ऑलरेडी इतना जानता हूं कि डिवाइसेस के ऊपर हमें डिपेंडेंसी बहुत रहने वाली है भी. स्कूल नहीं जाएगा, टीचरों से इंटरेक्ट नहीं करेगा, तो कहाँ से सीखेगा? डिवाइसेस से सीखेगा. अब डिवाइसेस को कितना अच्छे से यूज करना, वो हमें सिखाना ही पड़ेगा उनको. रादर वी शुड टीच देम दिस. एंड आई ऑल्सो मेक श्योर, वो है भी बच्चा हमारा ऐसा है कि मैं उसको जैसे DIY प्रोजेक्ट्स बहुत देता रहता हूँ कि अपने रूम में जाओ भैया बनाओ. एक तो आई डोंट नो टीवी किसके रूम में है आप लोग के घर में. अगर टीवी बच्चे के रूम में, फिर तो यू रियली डोंट हैव मच कंट्रोल.
नहीं, वी
Yeah.
मेड
तो या
श्योर कि हमारे लिविंग एरिया में, हॉल में टीवी है कि देख रहे हैं तो मोस्टली वी सिट टुगेदर, बिकॉज my son is a single child, so he doesn't have a sibling as well, so he misses on that sometimes कि मैं खेलूं तो किसके साथ खेलूं. So he pursues cricket also. तो लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि he watches TV like for sitting in front of it for at a stretch for an hour's time or so, moving here and there. लेकिन अगर उसको 15-20 minutes हो गए हैं, so sometimes I also remind him कि अथर्व, just get up now, go and do something
Yeah, I
for
think
like
Buddha
another
ji
10
and
minutes
Rahul
or
ji
so,
also
take a
wants to
break.
say something.
Yeah.
Buddha ji and Rahul Mahajan ji, you raised your hands.
Buddha ji is actually Jaswinder ji.
Jaswinder ji, you've achieved nirvana.
That's the ID for our homeschooling community. I didn't know that how I logged in through that. So I was just checking email. Anyway, so I think Rahul should speak first and then I'll continue. Rahul, please.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I was actually a little confused. The reason being is that I just, because we are meeting here for the first time, and I don't know, you guys, if you guys have met, particularly taking the agenda of teens and pre-teens earlier or not, but I'm attending this meeting for the first time. So I was just
Likewise.
wondering. Yeah, I was just wondering, so what is the agenda of this meet? Is this a general discussion on the random topics which we usually have, which comes in our mind during homeschooling our children, or it is the meeting, the agendas meeting, the agenda of this meeting is something different. So I just wanted to know that, because I think uh, to go this meeting and in the end to have some fruitful conclusions before the end of this meeting is something I would recommend. So
Yeah.
first, I think we should fix the agenda. I think it's better. We should introduce ourselves to among other homeschooling parents, and then maybe at the due course we can discuss about certain topics of interest to be discussed on the group. And this is not a meeting which is going to happen once in a while. If are we planning to continue keeping this session once a week or twice a week or once a month or whatever uh, duration we think about? So yeah, I know it came
So all these
abruptly in
points
the
are
middle,
what we are planning to, we aim to achieve. So this is
right?
a very generic meeting. How it
Yeah.
germinated was when Amit ji initiated this meetup with all the NCR homeschoolers. So my first fear was my teenager would not come for it,
Mhm.
because he doesn't want to meet people his age, maybe his age, but he doesn't want to socialize, doesn't want to go for certain events, most of the events, unless he's been really pushed towards it. So my idea was I wanted to connect with other parents. How are they navigating this entire process of keeping their teenagers checked in, or their academics, or anything related to that journey, specifically for homeschooling parents, because uh, teenagers who are going to school, they have their different set of issues. Ours is some bit is connected, but very exclusive, I must say. So the idea is, I'm really surprised that there are so many such parents of teenagers. So I'm really glad we've come here. Now we can set the agendas. All right, do we want to meet at a regular interval, or what are the agendas that we should have? But this is the first meeting, and for me, the most important aspect was how are we going to be taking care of the academic part of it, and of course the social angle of their personalities. And for others, they can share what brings them here.
Yeah.
No, I
So
joined this meeting because you posted the message in the group, and then as it was like you are part of my WhatsApp group, so that's why I joined. So I thought like if you need any support, so
Yeah.
like
So
I really clearly got your problem, and then I can have some suggestions, but since there are other parents also, it's better I'm meeting for the first time. So let's have them share because
yeah. So in case
personally I
there is
have
someone
met
who,
I have met online Pia Sukunya earlier also, and then even I think Rashidi is also there. So earlier I have been interacting with them. So definitely like let others also speak. So then maybe you can have suggestions.
yeah. So
One
at
thing
this
I
stage, we
yeah
don't have
at
any
this
experts here. But of course, all of us are expert. We have some expertise in our own sense, so we can all share our each other's experiences and learn from it. And then, of course, later on, we can have agenda-specific meetings.
right.
So
So,
Jaswinder ji, now you can pitch in probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
please.
First of all, I'm Jaswinder and I have a 10-year-old son, 10 and a half now. And I've been homeschooling him. And I'm an architect. I design mostly schools and learning environment. So I've done many interesting projects. So see, the reading theories and different philosophies I've been doing for last 20 years. But when it comes to your own child and homeschooling him, and though my wife is working, so I am taking full time care of my child with my work. Okay, I have my own practice. So it's not a it's not an easy journey till date. And anyway, so I'll come to the few points. One is fixing agenda. Definitely, the channel focusing or the focus of the discussion should be there because we had discussion previous. I think last to last year, Pia started those online calls, and people discussed. People came together, and then they organized, and then they basically created their own smaller groups within Delhi and even in Noida, right? So I think it's a good initiative, and you started it today, Preeti. I appreciate that part. So I think this is the process of just reorganizing again because I think after a certain interval, all these groups or these communities they need to restructure again. Okay, and no one been discussing teams. Okay, it's been I think 4 years, for not 4 year, 5 year actively, uh, before COVID also, with my son. Now he's almost he is just 10 and a half, but he's like a teen, pre-teen. No, I won't even say pre-teen. Okay, he is acting like a full-time teen. One, so I am not prepared, to be honest, and it is hitting me really hard. Okay, because as long as they are 8 or 9, I would say they are still manageable. But the moment they cross that 9, okay, they are exposed to variety of whatever going inside their body or in their brain, okay, or whatever chemical reaction, okay, they start connecting with world differently. Okay, so suddenly they had realized that they're the adult now. They are not the kid anymore. Okay, and they want to try everything possible. Like for example, I just say that my son has developed he's into automobiles, okay, vintage cars especially. So he's developed an interest for lighters, okay. And to explain, and I actually had to buy those. This is American brand. I forgot the lighter brand. Okay, he made me look for those rare lighters. Zippo, yes, Zippo. Okay, and I had to do the homework in the entire Delhi and collect lighter for him. Okay, it's just a curiosity. But as a team, okay, to have a possession of a lighter, it's not an easy thing. Okay, to explain how the fire is very dangerous. Okay, but in the 6 months, we learn to handle that part. So this is one challenge I am facing, that as he growing. Okay, but I think to discuss, I was also hoping if there are other parents here who has this more like Amit is here and he has a daughter, 14-year-old daughter. Okay, so how do you navigate this, especially pre-teen and teen stage? So that was my reason to come here and to share my knowledge or that experience I've gathered by creating a community here in Noida, and then we have organized age-wise. Yeah, so I would request Amit if he could do it here in Gurgaon group also. Okay, it's not difficult. You just have to create a community mode and automatically, so it becomes very easy. Though nothing happen in those groups, but people know that these are the set of parents of my child's age group, and they connect automatically without even informing. Okay, so that's really helpful. And coming back to that social media or no, that phone or device or screen, I think Amit's wife had rightly expressed that it's addictive. There's no doubt, there's no question. This device, this technology is addictive. And we have to understand how addiction works. It's crazy. Even we can't help it. Okay, and they are just 8 year or 10 year or 15 year. So there's a proper psyche which works behind this entire technology, and it is designed such way. Okay. So in my case, what I did, I gave him a phone very early. He was for many reasons, because at times he was alone. Okay, all alone sometime. Okay. So I had to actually tell and create the discipline, like how Sahil has explained. I think that is the right approach. You don't snatch a phone on the spot, which most of the parents do, and they develop that anger that don't don't respect. Okay. So I build that relationship. One is important. Building the trust with the child. So they listen to you. One. And second, I think that addiction part I mentioned. Okay. So if you leave a child for a longer one, two, the moment it crosses 3 days, similar pattern, it's dangerous. I think we need to break those patterns. And why they go to device? The other reason, because they have nothing else interesting to do. And I realized we are regularly now weekly we are organizing meets here in Noida once or twice a day, twice a week. So the moment they are with other children, they are less interested in the device. They find more interesting things around. Okay, because they get that energy from other children around. But if being homeschooler, I think socialization and that company, I think that's really the biggest challenge. So we need to create these kind of communities so the kids or the parents or they have at least outdoor or a different exposure of the outside world. So they get a different, I think, food for the brain. That's what I feel personally. So and for last it's been few months we've been experimenting this way to engage them outside with different families around, and I'm growing that network. So at least it's not only Noida. We are meeting parents like I once in a while I meet Rahul also. Okay, so that connection is important. Okay, so that was my take on this. There's a lot of homework. I have a lot of book and data in this so many years, so I have a lot of answers for a lot of queries also. Okay, but I think you have to build that bond of trust and love. So
So here, I'd like to add that when my son was younger, of course 8, 10, whatever, it was pretty easy to have this kind of a dialogue where I give a certain time period and it's been obeyed or followed. So, however, I would like one of the teenagers, parents to answer: does that rule still apply? In the sense, is that formula still functional with your children? Like when you tell them, okay, this is your timing and this is the cutout time, and you have to switch off the screen. Does it still work, or do they rebel? Because now, 12, 13 onwards, it's a different person we are talking to.
No, it still works.
Okay.
It still works with both our kids.
Most of the time I think having two kids also kind of helps, because then when you have a single child, I think it's a little more difficult. With both of them it's like acha didi ne kiya hai to tumhe bhi karna hai, or that he's not doing it so you can't do it. And thankfully we've been blessed with a daughter, she's elder, and सुनती है वो सब कुछ, मतलब most of the times तो वो standards उसने वैसे ही set कर रखे हैं कि ठीक है जो करना है, हाँ तो वो कर लेती है। तो इसलिए वो ऑफ कोर्स ट्राइज कि उसका है कि आई थिंक बीइंग अ बॉय आल्सो वो चीज है कि हर चीज में उसको करना, बट व्हेन ही सीज कि दी फॉलो कर रही है तो ही विल आल्सो हैव टू फॉलो इट, सो दैट मेक्स इट आई थिंक इजियर फॉर अस।
Rashi wants to add something.
Fine. No, I don't want to add anything because of my kids are almost 10 and 7, तो younger one तो इस कॉल में ऐड ही नहीं होती है। नहीं, मेरा एक सवाल ही है एक्चुअली जो आपने पूछा था उसी पे। So the question is that now she will turn 10 in 2 months, but the way actually we talk to each other, I am definitely not prepared for that kind of attitude, because वो already it's like somebody mentioned no कि they want to be an adult now, and she wants to have a say in her life. तो हमारे यहाँ भी स्क्रीन का कुछ कुछ इशू तो रहता ही है। हाउएवर मंडे टू फ्राइडे बहुत ही कम स्क्रीन टाइम होता है उनका, विच इज द लीजर स्क्रीन टाइम। नाउ माय क्वेश्चन इज कि most of the times I don't threaten them, but we have put some natural consequences कि okay you've done this, so this is bound to happen, and we don't negotiate on that part. Now the question is कि can I hold on to this even in the later years? Because मुझे पता है कि वो threatening काम नहीं करेगा, कुछ भी और काम नहीं करेगा, सिर्फ जो काम करेगा which is quite obviously natural consequences कि भाई तुम अगर रात को 11 बजे तक जग रहे हो but सुबह तो टाइम से उठना ही है, otherwise you lose your day. If you are okay with that, this is just an example. If the child is okay with that, then fine, you stay awake until 11. If you are extending your screen time, you will have to cut down on some other activity. If you are okay with that, if you're okay to let go of your responsibility in some other area, then you have to take the ownership. This holds in the later years also, or I have to prepare myself
So,
differently.
any other teenager parent who has a different story to share?
See, it's not about a story. I feel that this is a lot about trust that you build. Okay. The way you build a trust with your team, that is the way you build a trust with your kid also. It's not only about screen time, it's about the lot of other things that you do. So it's a give and take in lot of other things also. And that one of them is screen time. Okay, so if they believe in you, if they trust you that if you are saying this, it will happen, then they will follow this routine also. Because it's not that for other things there is a different parameter, for screen time there is a different parameter.
Yeah, so this thing has worked for you, the trust angle and several
Yes.
other things. So that is exactly what I'm saying. See, it can't be everyone's story.
Absolutely.
Story or experience, I'm saying. So because I have heard like other stories or let's say experiences, so that's what I'm trying to gauge. So it's a very handsome information, like that the connect is so strong and things are working out well. However, there are certain parents who are still figuring out this particular space. So that's exactly what I'm trying to figure out. First of all, how many parents are here who have teenagers? Because mostly मुझको younger parents ही लग रहे हैं, younger children के. So the parents who have children in their teenagers, I would really love to know how you are processing this. कि बच्चों के साथ ये जो connect है teenagers specifically, because they want to behave like an adult, and most of them are rebelling, and so exactly what I want to know. If someone else has a different
I
story.
think Bhavna wants to say something.
Bhavna ji?
Hi. I have two children. One is 14, one is 15. And I feel what you're saying, that what they understood at 10, they are not going to understand now. They are not understanding. They are, it's battle of wits every day for everything, and especially screen time. Now, whatever we say is one, it just doesn't go in their mind. It just doesn't go into their mind. They have different perspective, different, you know no negotiation is working. Finally, in my case, I have to raise my voice, or I'll have to do something, emotional blackmailing, or even emotional blackmailing is not working, so I have to be very stern, very I have to become very strict. I have to take away things, I have to hide things. That's a different thing, that they can go to any extent to find those hidden things too. So nothing is working as of now. It's like every day there is a battle. But I feel, again, what I've heard from other parents who who cross this age, now they are saying that it will happen for another 2 3 years, and then they'll start to understand what is right and what is wrong. But problem is, for us it seems like time is running. This time is going to do more damage if
Yes.
we let it be like this. So our struggle is kind of a continuous struggle.
Yeah, even though we know that this phase will get over, the
Yeah.
rebel will change into a very different person.
Yeah.
However, the fact that we are living that particular situation is scary, and
It,
we're really trying to keep our noses above the water levels. And also, I would like to add here, I was also looking for gender specifications, because having a girl child, to manage her is very different from raising a boy child. So I am rich enough to have both the sets, but one of them is the teenager and it's the boy. So my struggle there is different. So any other parent of a teenager who wants to share how they are progressing for the screen time or anything else? Yeah,
Yeah,
Parulji?
yeah, I was. Yeah, Rahul, please, you go ahead.
Parul, please, yeah, you can go ahead. Don't worry.
So, as I have a boy who is 15, so that trust factor, which I think Sahil and Buddhaji were discussing about, um, that is there. But we need to set a few examples also. If we are constantly on such devices, and if we don't follow a schedule or a routine, or how can we expect our kids, be it a teenager or a preteen or a little younger one, to follow such things, that screen time has to be limited, or we have to be waking up a bit early, or we have to follow a certain routine, be it related to their health or their academics or whatever. So need to set an example. Besides that, as Preeti raised this point, that raising a girl, teenage child, and a boy teenage child is different. I mean, if we get into that gender specification, I was just coming to that point that yes, I have seen a lot of changes. I mean, I've seen within my family also, where I've seen my cousins having a girl child and a boy child, and their age difference is, a year or a two. So one is preteen, or both of them are teen after a few years. So it is different. It is different. Yes, I mean, boys become more rebel, and they rebel like, आपने तो प्रॉमिस किया था, लाइक आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल कि मैंने मेरे बेटे को बोला कि लाइक if you sleep at 11 or 12, if you are watching something or if you are chatting with your friends, then you will wake up little late tomorrow, so you are going to lose those important hours when you go running and when you go for your walks and all. So are you ready for that, to compromise with all those things? So sometimes he listens, sometimes he is like कि mama आज तो weekend है, अभी कल तो let me have some fun tonight. So this happens.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of
इसके
negotiations.
अलावा screen time के लिए lots of negotiation, and it is a phase. I mean, teenage is something, I mean, people say that preteen and teens are almost similar these days, but I don't find it that it's that similar. There is a lot of difference. And besides that, what I have found is that you need to constantly change your strategies as well. What as I think Sahil mentioned, that he has not subscribed for an ad free YouTube subscription. So this works for me as well. I have put a password in the mobile, I mean, most of the times, but I have told him very clearly, Athar, when you are going for a walk or you are going for a class outside on your own, then I'm giving you the mobile. But once you come back home, this is your responsibility to get it password enabled once again. So he understands, but sometimes he deliberately, or sometimes he forgets to ask me to make it password protected once again. So I don't know, but this happens, and it's a phase. I think this should also, after a few years, I mean, they will be able to understand that what they are going to lose, and if they don't focus. And we all have gone through such a phase, so we understand this has happened with us also. Although we understand during our times there were not much distractions, right? But these days, I mean, the world is, I
Oh
mean, for
yes.
these teenagers, it's full of distractions as well.
Yeah.
But once they get to indulge into something more meaningful and more interesting to them, that I have seen, my son will stand up every 20 minutes, and he will go for knocking with his hanging ball or so. He cannot sit for like 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes or 20 minutes in front of the screen. Or he will go in the balcony, he will play with the plants, or he will use some clay or something. He will make a small pitch in a tray using clay or something, or you know but he doesn't want to spend much time on screen. This is kind of something which has been you know this is something he doesn't want to do, but he doesn't have any other option.
Okay. Aisha, you want to share something?
Yeah, I want to share one point. Like we do watch screen and we are on mobiles, but the purpose is different. We used to check mobile mails, messages, and all these things. And kids used to watch mobiles for no reason, just for entertainment, for just these shorts. So this is the difference. Now we want to put an example in front of them, but the reason is different. Like we are watching for a purpose. and they are watching for for just time pass.
Yeah, I get that point. In fact, that is something I was coming closer to. Like in my son's case, he is most of the time on screen. We don't have a television set in our house, so everything is very chosen, be it on his phone or his laptop. So, Paul ji से जैसे बात हो रही थी कि we there's a lot of negotiation. So when I ask him, okay, what is it that you're doing so much on the screen? Of course, I know I can sit behind him and watch through. So, of course, one is he plays video games, and then secondly, he's on Discord. Is anyone's child on Discord? Because I need a little more information on that, some education. So, 2 years ago, when he started Discording, and then I spoke to another person who's not a parent but relatively a youngster who understood the concept of Discord. And because I was worried he was managing 12,000 people there, he was the जैसे group admin होते हैं, I don't know. So I was scared that he's just 12 or 13, and why or how is he able to do this, and what is this concept? So I was told, "Nee, it's safe and everything," but so he told me, my son told me, this is out of a sense of responsibility because he's managing. Earlier, it started with 2000, then 6, and then 8, and then he kept telling me, "Ma, itne sare members hain mere." So 12,000 people. He said, I have a sense of responsibility towards them. If I do not provide them with the kind of stuff they're expecting, in the sense, of course, he was not doing anything illegal or immoral. It was purely game based. So, and he also connected it. I understand how you and Papa manage your businesses when you are with your team member, how to come up to their expectations, how to deliver the product or service on time. So I was like, okay, how is that possible on Discord? So that is why that's something I want to know. The second thing is, again, when he was watching a lot of animes. So again, he said, "Ki, nahi, Mama, I'm learning a lot from this." I was like, "How is it that you're learning from animes?" He was like, "Life ke bare mein pata chalta hai. It's helping me in my football game. It's helping me." So he would tell me logically a lot of things. So strangely, fortunately, unfortunately, uh, everything he's doing, online friends or entertainment, is on the screen right now. Even when he was in school, he would come back and he said, I have to get back to my people. So then how does one figure out कि ये करना screen पे सही है और ये सही नहीं है? Anyone has any information about Discord or any other
See,
story?
Discord is nothing like you have a
So
WhatsApp
when
group.
he said like I have to do for
Sorry?
See, like you have your WhatsApp group, you are admin of a WhatsApp group, right? And the kind of people you want to have on that group, you decide. What you want to post
Yeah.
on that group, you decide. So Discord is kind of a server for a particular game, wherein for a particular game you have a server in which you can invite people who can come to that server and play game along with you.
Okay.
So that is it. So
All right.
you can firewall people you do not want. You can remove people who are not right doing the right things, and this is
Yes,
how
I remember this terminology. Yes.
this is what you do.
So for me now, the agenda, what was it's not just about the screen time, it's also about the kind of people he's dealing with. Why does he have to go through so many emotions at this stage? When there is a certain member who's not been behaving well, probably using foul language, and he's like, "No, Mama, I can manage this." And I'm like, "I don't want you to manage this at this age."
no, that's what I am just saying. Like as you mentioned, like he said it there. I have to be for that my people.
Yes.
So you just see that. So this means this is what he has created. Like this is his people.
Yes.
Okay, so it's very clear cut. He mentioned that, and in that, very unfortunate or very straightforward to say that you are not that among those people.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So that's why you got that question and you realized that. So yes, why not? Means now since this technology has enabled him, like recently I was listening to them like when Buddha came and he spoke to people when he got enlightened. So first people were 7 people, right? Because he didn't have the technology, or even for Gandhi also people say that. Imagine Gandhi would have had that today's technology, how effective he would have, or how bigger he would have been. So same thing, like now they have the technology, they have the power, and then I have met a child who has a 2.5 million subscriber in YouTube, and he was seeing his mobile, and I was just curious to know what he was doing. And then he said, like as your child is saying, he said that these are the things. And surprisingly, he their parents don't know. This guy has the 2.5 million, and it's a gaming. It's a big game, and it is like going like undercurrent in India, since we are like very paranoid parents and all. So our children have created a parallel world where once they get hang of it, they go there. But definitely, like where it comes is like one thing I want to address here is first notion we need to remove the thing is like. Friend should be age group, like your child is saying, no, age group and all. Again, it is coming from schooling mentality. If you are homeschool, you are choosing to homeschool or unschool, anybody should be your friend. You should have that capacity. What will happen, what is the impact is when you go become work, you start your own company or you work in some under, first of this you have to deal with a person or animal called boss. So obviously the age and all, like that's what I have been struggled with my 20 years of my corporate life. The and nobody taught us in school or colleges and how to deal with the boss. And boss also don't know how to deal with the subordinates. Especially like if subordinates also become like kind of mini boss. So and homeschooling children like this, one of the opportunity we have is first of all, like when you are able to do that, you should be able to make friends with anybody. Now comes the question: the person like your child who doesn't have seems to have friends. So most of the time, it is been told to us or believed like when I teach the children, especially for Delhi or NCR region. So here the even culture of the city also come into place. Okay, like that's what I am realizing. When I teach a child from a Bombay, when I teach a child from Pune or Bangalore or Chennai, very distinct personality. Each city has like people may not believe it, but each and as like gender issue you already know that is there. That is also there. So again, like as many of them has said, like it is a very kind of specific debate. You can do it like step by step. But for as of now, I want to offer here is first of all thing like give that idea of like where the age is a constant. Like when they are he's running the Discord server, as you are correctly said, like many people like me also can be there in his community without revealing my age, right? I may be the adult, but I'm playing under him. There is no that concept of age is not there. So definitely like that will go on like for some time, and it depends. Like I have met many adults who are actually having their livelihood, like they have passed from I am Calcutta, I am Indore, but they do gaming. Like night they do gaming, and the reason they do gaming because that's what they found their passion. But they are doing it as an adult. So obviously that you have to do. And one thing that I mentioned that I have sent my children like right now for sleep, and they're 14 and 11. So being a child, a city child, sending that this is like kind of have a so this is also have a step by step. And when I have taught to us one child who is in Delhi, one day she said that she's gone for sleeping at 4 o'clock in the morning. So, and it is like quite normal for her life. It was there, and she has to give NIOS exam. So now she told that now she is brought back to 10:30 in the evening. So I think it is like quite change in like kind of behavior from like 3 4 months. But for that, I felt like that conversation was not there. Like the parents didn't have time to have the conversation as you guys are having. So definitely there are many layers, and then trust as many of them that is also there. But there are many things we can look into that. And one of the thing I want to offer here is a friend can be anybody who like that. Not because I remember when I was teen, I found one person man very interesting who was 80 years old. And why I found him very interesting, he was running a homeopathy clinic in a distance village, and he was a retired headmaster, 80 years of age. His two children was into Ramakrishna mission. So at that teenage also, I figured out this man is very different. Not that he spoke very differently, like he said, "Hi, how are you?" But because of his profiling, like as Discord or like our children gets connected to another, his profiling was very different from anybody I knew at that time, like my parents or my family members and all like that. And he became my friend, and he was like kind of little bit influential of like what I'm doing right now also. But he didn't say it, he didn't preach like as many of the parents say. He didn't preach me anything, he didn't say anything, but he was like a friend. Like whatever language I was speaking, he was speaking, and there was no gap. Like I think you might have seen, many of you seen that ICC Championship trophy where India won. Like Sunil Gavaskar was jumping like a baby. So at the age of 75 years also, how he is relevant, many people are praising him. So I think there you can find the clue how to be with the child, and how to be with the things like they coming with the new changes like the technology is bringing.
Right. I think Preeta and Sahil also want to add something.
Hi, this is Twinkle, Sahil's wife on Sahil's account. So I wanted to, first of all, I wanted to add that what Rahul said in the starting, I think we should have an agenda for the meeting. अगर agenda नहीं है, then let's keep our talks a little short because time बहुत ज़्यादा लग रहा है and फिर दूसरे इंसान को बोलने का मौका नहीं मिल रहा है and questions आधे रह जाएंगे. And first of all, जो अगर टीन्स का क्वेश्चन है उसमें मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था कि आई थिंक वी ऑल शुड टेक वन डे एट अ टाइम बिकॉज आई थिंक यहाँ पे फिर से वही और जो स्कूल में होता है स्कूल में प्लानिंग होती है स्ट्रक्चर होता है सब होता है वही अब आई थिंक हम होम स्कूलिंग में अप्लाई कर रहे हैं कि नहीं वी नीड टू हैव अ प्लान वी नीड टू हैव अ दिस थिंग स्क्रीन टाइम का ये क्या है आई थिंक वी शुड homeschooling is about exploring and teens are always exploring things and they are curious तो every day उनका नया है so every day आपका भी नया रहेगा उनके साथ हमारा भी नया रहेगा so we need to take one day at a time and every day we need to and life is about struggle and every day we need to struggle कि हम आज कैसे स्क्रीन टाइम कम कराएं आज कैसे स्क्रीन टाइम कम कराएं तो आई थिंक वो स्ट्रक्चर जो हम बहुत ज्यादा अभी डाल रहे हैं आई थिंक वी आर ट्राइंग टू रेप्लिकेट स्कूल ही वापस से कि नहीं इतने टाइम आप टीवी देखोगे 15 मिनट आप टीवी देखोगे ये करोगे तो आई थिंक वी शुड लेट देम फ्री एंड टेक वन डे एट अ टाइम
Yeah, right. I agree. So, Preet and I think Rashi also want to add something.
Yeah, hi. So I just want to add a quick note कि इतनी बातों में मैंने जो समझा है और आगे की बातों में भी जो मुझे इंट्यूशन है कि as Sahil said कि I'll have to also take one day at a time, but I'll have to be prepared कि they will fail, they will not go according to what I say, they will do whatever they have in their head, and I will have to let them fail, let them figure out their own way without me, and I think they'll come back to me. इतना मुझे शायद अपने को प्रिपेयर करना पड़ेगा.
Actually, हमारे स्टेज पे जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है, it's not about whether the child will fail or not, but it's about the kind of connect that is not there anymore with the teenagers that we have, the children,
I
because
think
ये
that
वही
is
बच्चा है.
also,
तो
I think in
failure at
the work,
बिकॉज वी बिकम कंट्रोलिंग मोर कंट्रोलिंग जैसे टीन में आते हैं बच्चे आई थिंक हम ज्यादा वो हो जाते हैं कि हमें उन्हें सेफ रखना है उन्हें ये रखना है बट ये नेचर का लॉ है कि पीपल लर्न फ्रॉम देयर ओन मिस्टेक्स एंड दे ग्रो फ्रॉम देयर ओन मिस्टेक्स तो वो मिस्टेक्स तो उन्होंने करनी है सो वी नीड टू जस्ट बी
give them
देयर
a free
for
hand.
them and free hand and just be there around them keeping an eye on them but not controlling them because then they will run away.
I agree. There is no control. However, like I mentioned, as soon as my son came into the preteen stage, I figured that he's a very different person. So that is the reason why we are here. But how are you dealing with this new person in the same body?
I think we need to get to know that person every day. Try to get to know to कि क्या चल रहा है कैसा है.
How old is
Like
your child?
my child is 10, but I have a niece who is 13. So I see all. We stay in one house only.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Okay.
see all these things.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, Preet, you wanted to say something? I am with you. I know this is exactly what's happening at my son with my son in a different context, of course. Please do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
actually I am a night owl. So when I observe myself, I do most of my work at the night. That is the best time I could do. So if you are night person, you should not, I think you shouldn't change it to a morning person. It's not like that is the best time, because best time for everyone is different, for sure. And I observed the same thing in my kid. From 6 years, he is more into Legos. Like he from 6 year itself, he does Lego for 12 years or 18 years stuffs and all, sometimes 4 in the morning. And I can't he says like I couldn't sleep because it's in my mind that I have to, this is next thing I have to do this, I have to build that, and it's in his mind. So I actually attend online school. I'm basically from South, and I have two kids. One is 7 and one is 9. Both are boys. Uh, and the teacher which I connect with is she's a psychologist too, and she homeschool her two kids. So when I discussed with her, she was telling like you should let the kid do whatever they want to do, and then you should ask question after it. Like you shouldn't give the answer, just question why you're doing this and what does it make you feel after. Like if you do this way, is it okay? Like the whole night if you're awake, is it feeling like your body will get spoiled and all those things? You just need to tell about this, and you shouldn't advise you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. You just need to like mildly inform, but not to say this is what you should do. So
So maybe right now it's his passion is reading, तो वो रात को रीडिंग करता है. But once जैसे जैसे वो बड़ा होगा उसकी लाइफ में दूसरे पर्पस आएंगे, गोल्स आएंगे, तो जब उसे अलग एक पर्पस दिखेगा सुबह का, so he will cater for that also. Because phases होते हैं, इस फेज में उसे रीडिंग पसंद है, तो आई थिंक यू शुड लेट हिम बी लाइक दैट. क्योंकि अगर स्कूल होम स्कूलिंग का यही तो फायदा है कि उसे सुबह उठ के स्कूल नहीं जाना है, सो ही कैन रीड हिज बुक. ही नीड्स द कंसंट्रेशन. शायद उसको वो कंसंट्रेशन रात को जब सब शांत हो जाता है तभी फील होती है. तो वो उस एग्जैक्टली सो वो होम स्कूलिंग का मतलब ही ये है कि इट इज नॉट फिक्स कि अब तुम्हें सुबह 8 बजे ही उठना है, तुम्हें 6 बजे उठना है. अगर उसको रात को रीडिंग रीडिंग कर रहा है, रीडिंग पसंद है, ठीक है. अब अगले साल उसको शायद कुछ क्रिकेट में या किसी स्पोर्ट्स में इंटरेस्ट आ जाए, तो उसको उसका पर्पस होगा कि सुबह उठ के मुझे गोल होगा कि मुझे जाना है क्रिकेट के लिए, वो उठेगा. रात को उसको सोना ही पड़ेगा, सुबह उठा होगा तो रात को नींद आएगी. तो आई थिंक ये फेजेस हैं, ये चेंज होते रहेंगे. आई डोंट थिंक इतना बहुत ज्यादा दिमाग में प्रेशर लेना चाहिए हमें या स्ट्रेस लेना चाहिए इन चीजों का.
See, I
I
will
would
be worried in such a case if my child is not keeping well because of that. If the child is keeping well, I don't think so. One should be so worried. ये तो same चीज उसमें कई चीजें ऐसी भी होती है कि there are students who study for IIT and all. There are students who want to wake up early in the morning and study. Then there are people who study the whole night and sleep in the morning. Then there are people who are left-handers. Then there are people who are right-handers.
Hmm.
So if it is not affecting the health, I don't see it should be such a big an issue.
No, I think it's beyond health. Also, there are several other logistical issues related to the schedule of the child. However, because we are running short of time, and so maybe we can pick up these agendas, at length. But we must definitely listen to peer.
तो आपको जो एकेडमिकली सब्जेक्ट आपको पढ़ाना है, आप उस सब्जेक्ट को प्रैक्टिकल से स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं. अगर आपको हिस्ट्री पढ़ानी है तो उसको मूवीज दिखा के हिस्ट्री सिखा दें, या फिर आप उसको थोड़ा ट्रैवल करा के. और अगर आपको साइंस सिखानी है तो कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स घर पे दिया, बिकॉज होम स्कूलिंग का मतलब ही है यू हैव टू गेट इन्वॉल्व विद द चाइल्ड.
I would really request if we can just decide कि ठीक है अब हमको कितना regularly मिलना है, what are the kind of topics that we will do. And however, Pia has been waiting for a very long time. I really want to hear her out. And of course, any other teenagers' parents, I really, really want to hear. I want to get shoulders together and cry and other things. So please, yeah, let's begin with Pia.
Hi, I'm just a fly on the wall here, not a teenager's parent at all. I just was curious, and we may not have the time for this today, so maybe the next session. How are you all actually homeschooling? What kind of curriculums are you following? I'm very curious. And the second question I had was, how are you all dealing with sex education and making your child aware of what is acceptable in terms of keeping themselves safe. So I'm very curious about that. If anyone would like to offer.
I think teenagers is already pretty late to introduce sex education. That's what my observation has been. It has to be
How old is
much,
your
much.
child, Pia?
My child is only 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so by 5, even I think even in nursery, we start telling the child what is a good touch, what is a bad touch, and eventually you start moving up. And even with my 6-year-old, she knows what periods are and something related to whatever she can fathom. So the kind of terminology that you use, and so it's
100%. Yeah, we've already had all those chats. Like Eddie's already asked me how babies are made, so I'm there at 5. But at a teenage level, I mean, I remember being a teenager and a very rebellious one at that. How do you keep your children safe? That's what I was, and also I really want to know how you all homeschool.
okay. So I'll first begin with homeschooling. Why I chose, because I was never really convinced about the way school was educating, so-called educating. However, in the ninth grade, my child was suffering with a lot of peer pressure and bullying and other stuff. And top it all, ninth grade is usually very difficult. So when I saw him suffer, I asked him two things. Out of the two, which one do you want to fix first? Do you want to fix your friendship, the peers, and everything, or do you want to fix your studies? He said, I want to fix the study aspect of it. Friends, मैं कभी भी बना लूंगा. So from there, we were very clear it has to be homeschooling, and so we had the only option of the Indian board and Cambridge. So we are going ahead with Cambridge, and eventually, whenever he wants to go ahead with formal school, that is, he wants to go offline, we are fine with that. So that's our academic journey. So currently, he's preparing for the IGCSE.
And how do you structure your day with the Cambridge curriculum?
Chaotic to begin with, and then of course what we've done is we've aligned ourselves with the one of tuition centers that specializes in Cambridge and IB board. So he learns more, let's say, most of his subjects there, because most of it is theory anyways. However, with physics, I really wanted him to get the practical knowledge of it. So there, from for that, he goes to Jigyasu, which is purely experiment based, and then there are of course other options. So, but however, I am very fixated on experiential learning. So day after tomorrow, we are going to Chandigarh to understand the geography, the politics, and other aspects related to that particular unique city. So yeah, it's a mix of a lot of things. But of course, because we'd already traveled the journey of schooling, so and he doesn't know exactly where he wants to make his career in, and where does he want to start building his blocks right away. He has some inclination, but not 100% there. So it's like I might as well finish my schooling and then I'll decide आगे क्या करना है. So right now it's definitely schooling. Anyone else who wants to share their journey, academics? How at this age, crucial stage when nobody wants to take a chance in the 9th and 10th grade, they don't even shift homes. How did you get to choose to decide to pull off or never go to a school or be a homeschooler as a teenager?
Okay, can I speak now? I think, though I've not reached that stage, but when I was a teenager, I used to, I was staying alone for some reason. So the only resources I had were books. So it's been 30 years. I've been collecting a lot of interesting books and I've been reading those books. So whenever my son, that's why I decided, one of the reasons I decided with my son is, so for homeschooling. So I have all that treasure with me. Okay. And it starts from very early stage. Okay. Like 10-year or 8-year-old, the same topic, but on an age specific. And there are certain books which are timeless. So if he comes up with some query, so I give him that. Okay, let's discuss this, or not even discuss this. Okay, you were asking how this is done, so I basically aid with those books, and I found it really interesting. And he doesn't go through, but because at times he realized that okay, now he's in that mode. Okay, I just give a hint that this is the book. Okay, maybe you would like to refer, or this is the place, or this is the website, or this is the link. Okay, so that's how I'm helping my son, and he has a very strong taste in most of the topics or interests he has. So I think books are amazing that way. And if you have right books, and because the curiosity these days with this generation is slightly different. Okay, they're more into space technology. Okay, and rather than being more towards those traditional subjects, and they are into subjects which we were not, because we were trained, or we went to school which was like very traditional approach toward these subjects. So I don't know.
How old is your son, sir?
He's 10 and a half. So that's why I was not speaking, because I was giving chance to teen parents.
Yeah, so my son has moved from the space phase also.
Yes, yes, yes. So okay.
Yeah,
Right.
any other parent of a teenager would like to share their journey, and so that we can also sum up the agendas for the next meet if we want to catch up again.
Hello. Yeah, Saransh, he's 13 years old. He went to school for 2 years. From first onwards, he's homeschooling. So the reason was that he didn't find school curriculum interesting. Every day he wants games period, but it was just for 2 days in a week. And one more thing was that if teacher scold some another student, he feels that someday she will scold me also. So there was a kind of fear, and many things were happening during that time. I guess you guys must have remember a case in Greater Noida. A child who was murdered in the school. So all these things were happening that time. So somehow we decided, okay, let's start homeschooling him. So first we started with doing worksheets. We even appointed tuition teacher for him, but it didn't work. It was like school again at home. सो देन आई डिसाइडेड कि हम अपने से ही पढ़ेंगे, जो टॉपिक तुमको इंटरेस्टिंग लगेगा वी विल डू दैट टॉपिक ओनली. सो फिर after 3-4 years we decided that we will enroll him for OBE program. So in this February he appeared for his OBE level C, and exams have been done, and now he is preparing for board exams. Next year he will appear for his board exams. So I'm also looking for some teacher who can teach him maths and physics, not just for scoring good marks, for the love of the subject. So this is kind of another challenge I'm facing.
So you're looking for tutors, right? Online,
Yes,
offline. So you can put down
online.
your query in the group, and whatever resources I have, I'll share that.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
I want to ask one question to every parent that आई थिंक ये जो इतने सब क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं कुछ एकेडमिकली कुछ सेफ्टी के लिए कुछ सोशल मीडिया ये सब के लिए आई थिंक वी शुड आस्क आवर सेल्स फर्स्ट कि व्हाई हैव वी ऑप्टेड फॉर होम स्कूलिंग इज इट फॉर द सेफ्टी ऑफ द चाइल्ड कि स्कूल में बुली होता था या क्या है मतलब उसे सेफ सेफ रखने के लिए और इज इट फॉर कि उसे ज़्यादा एक्सप्लोर करने के लिए कि उसे रिस्ट्रिक्शंस में नहीं रखना है, एक्सप्लोरेटिव बनाना है या कुछ मतलब आई थिंक वी नीड टू फाइंड द रीज़न व्हाई वी आर होम स्कूलिंग द किड्स बिकॉज़ इफ द सेफ्टी इज़ द रीज़न कि हम उसको स्कूल फिर तो हम स्कूल को ही घर पे लाइक वंस अमित जी सेड कि हम स्कूल को ही घर पे रेप्लिकेट कर देंगे तो वो स्कूल ही रहेगा। होम स्कूलिंग का पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट ही चेंज हो जाएगा। तो सेफ्टी तो आप कब तक कर लोगे बच्चों की? अगर आपको आपके लिए एकेडमिक्स इतने इम्पोर्टेंट है तो फिर तो स्कूल अच्छा ही है।
I just want to say something. I think these are very debatable and they need a separate time to discuss these topics. Okay, so as Preeti was saying that we have a limited time, so maybe we can decide agenda in different meetings. This is one, and second, I think with the previous experience, what Pia has been organizing those meets, So I suggest let's meet once in a week with an agenda. And then
Yes.
we can discuss this. Like I've seen this ROE people organize every Saturday one meet, and even if there's no one, at least they have two people who are discussing something, their issues. Okay, so let's organize that way. So
And I
maybe
think
we can
let's
have
organize
more
it
detailed discussion on every because there are a lot of issue related with homeschooling. So that's
and
my
can
suggestion.
we organize this group wise because
Yes, yes, that's what I
yeah, like
suggested.
age group wise.
Yes, that's what I suggested initially.
Yes.
Yes.
Because ऐसे बहुत hodge podge हो रहा
Yes,
है.
definitely. And a little group. Maybe if it,
Yeah.
because 8 or 10 people are manageable. But the people who, when we cross 8 or 10 people, it's chaos, little chaos.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yes, thank you. Jasdev ji, मैं बार बार बुद्धा जी बोलने लग जाती हूँ. So, but pretty much you're there, I guess. So yeah, I would really request we have these regular meetups, meetups in physical as well as online. Online definitely, because there are a lot of times when we are not able to lift ourselves and get to a certain location, especially in NCR. So Gurgaon wale, in case we can meet up, that would be really wonderful. I have two children, 6 and 14, and online definitely, because very frequently we have issues that we would like to discuss and which we are not able to do when children are around, because we get distracted with them and stuff like that. So online, I think we should definitely have at regular intervals with specific agendas, and I would really request certain seniors who can come in and help us out. Just the fact, agar koi itna bhi bol deta hai na ki nahi nahi, it's a phase, it will get over, it sounds really good. We really want to be told this time and again. And but of course, how someone else has navigated their journey, it kind of becomes a little more reassuring that this phase will go. And but of course there are several agendas: academics, physical, social. Yes. So, like I said, the reason why I initiated this meet was because when Amitji had mentioned that there is a NCR complete meet homeschoolers, so I knew my son wouldn't come for it. So I just wanted to connect with others, and I'm so glad that there's so many parents of teenagers. So we would love to know how you are processing it and share ideas, suggestions. That would be nice. Guidance.
And one more thing I would like to say, I think this initiative should come like this only. We shouldn't wait for someone to start the discussion. If someone feels like, definitely, I'm sure I've seen that pattern. Once you initiate the process, people come in, people join.
And it's also very refreshing to know that younger children's parents are so keen to know कि कैसे आगे की journey होगी. So it's pretty nice. हम तो already है यहाँ पे, so it's nice to see what's happening here. And yeah, so congratulations, you'll be here soon.
I have one question. Can I ask?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, so my son, I feel कि he's a little introvert and school में उसके कुछ ज़्यादा friends नहीं हैं. Because he's still going to the school. This, like in March, his academic year for fifth standard is gonna end, and from next year we're planning for homeschooling. तो उसके लिए I just have a question कि ऐसे तो नहीं होता है कि बच्चे homeschooling में और ही introvert बन जाते हैं, या like how do they deal with that?
In my experience, every person has a core personality, and then it's about the environment.
Yes.
Hmm.
तो मेरे घर में सीता गीता है, राम श्याम है, and we are absolutely doing fine. We are not missing school. We are not really gung-ho about homeschooling. Everything is going fine.
Okay. I think we're all good now.
So just 5 minutes to 10, in case any other question, suggestion, very quickly in one sentence, please shoot. And
As someone was suggesting that let's meet every week. I mean, the frequency should be like twice in a month, every fortnight or so we can meet. And age group wise, I mean, especially, I mean, if we can split the group like age wise, like preteens or teenagers, like, or or
Yeah, the primary
the
ages
children
and
who
middle
are
class.
I would just
Yeah.
share my experience. Okay, when I created
yeah,
this
because
age-wise,
in yeah.
I'm saying at the moment I created this age-wise group in my community here in Noida. Okay, I tell you, people started automatically. They didn't need this online thing. They started connecting because they knew that these are the number of parents. Okay, so after a point, see, we are just breaking ice here because we never had a discussion like this. Once you know your age group, you're anyway connected, and you know these are the people who are in line with my, in sync with my thought process. So you know that these are the parents. We get help, and they are in our vicinity. They're very close by, and they start meeting. So I think it just to organize parents. That's it, age wise. That's it. Otherwise, these meets are happy or the feel good factor that we meet and share experiences. Otherwise, once we create that age wise group, it's really helpful. Yes, please, Parul.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I have also noticed because initially when we started in 2022, when I pulled my son from school, so I did have my own, fears and all. But slowly and gradually, I mean, I had one maths workshop at my place sometime in June or May 2022. This was the time when I finally decided that I'm not sending my son back to school after the summer vacations. So I met a few parents. One of them was Smriti Pateria. She has three children, and her oldest one will be writing her 12th boards this year or next year from an iOS. And the other two are the twin of my son's age. So I met her, and she has been a, the guiding star for me, and is a good friend also, although she has shifted to Indore. So I have noticed that slowly and gradually these children also start making their own groups of friends and the peer groups age wise. I mentioned in the Delhi NCR WhatsApp group as well that irrespective of the age, my son loves making friends. But yes, there are times that being a single child, he misses on his, peer group also, that teenage kind of a group, because they have a different kind of a discussion when they meet, and they discuss about their aspirations, their dreams, and what all do they love to do in their free time, and also that those chit chats and discussions are of a different level and of different topics as compared to the preteens or the children who are of the age of 8, 9 or 6, 7 years. So yes, we can have online discussions age group wise, and then eventually we can start meeting offline as well. I'm based in Old Gurgaon, so Gurgaon based parents and children, we can obviously meet offline sometime.
Yes. So I think in the coming month we should definitely reconnect on a certain topic. Based on that topic, we can have discussion, and of course, if time allows, then we can spill over to other topics as well.
So
Anyone else?
I'll do one thing. I'll reorganize the group into various subgroups into a community so that all these discussions can happen over there also, and people can connect according to the age group or particular location or interest also. So that is one thing. And the second thing is, as I mentioned in the group, that the idea behind uh, having a single meet was to cater to various people who are going through the journey and are at various stages. Okay, so we do not want to cater to only kids who are younger, or only parents who are teenagers, or people who are deciding they want to get into homeschooling or out of homeschooling. So it will be kind of a meet wherein we are able to cater to most of the people, so they get a reason to come out and meet. So once we meet physically, also then I think a lot of bonding happens and a lot of discussion start from there too. Because we used to do a lot of online meets in 2020 during the COVID, and after the things went back to normal, the meetings were not that